feelings were never meant to lead the way. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't matter. It just means that they need to be in their proper place in our life. When we get feelings about things, we accept that we have them, and we can either choose to address the feeling or ignore the feeling. We have to take our thoughts captive. We have to sift through what comes into our mind, because a lot of it is garbage and needs to be tossed out. And something I'm working on is just trying not to be in my mind so much. I want to do a video, get out of your mind, because too many of us ruminate far too much. I'm just gonna play with some triggers if that's okay. The best way to get a person discouraged is to have them focus on what they don't have. And what's lacking in their life. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard from time to time that a good anecdote for sadness, depression, worry is praise. But sometimes that advice has fallen flat for me. Praise is the last thing on my mind when I'm sad. But if you put that into practice, whether you sing to the Lord, God's really been impressing upon my heart the importance of worship and how edifying Christian music can be in a time of trial. Because as you guys know, I like all kinds of different music. But there's just something about worship music. I did a TikTok video on that the other day. When we're sad or downcast and we focus on the good things that we have, is hidden in our pain, because we are so focused on our pain, our potential is trapped, and the only way for it to break free and get out is to turn our focus outwards. We focus on loving God and loving others. Nobody will ever show us love the way it's good, but not as good in my opinion. But I've gotten a couple devotionals in the past few years that have really helped me. One of them is called The Vision. I just feel like the depth of the passages, though they're short, really speaks to my heart. This is what I share from on TikTok because I actually contacted the publisher to see if I could read it on there. So I do short devotions on there. They said yes. And I just got this one a few weeks ago from Barnes & Noble, The Power of Hope, and it is wonderful. That's when I actually got this bracelet too. I was asking God to speak to me, and I kept seeing a theme of hope. So I got the bracelet and this devotional from Barnes & Noble, believe it or not, but this has some really encouraging passages in it. Let's read this inner part right here. It says, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress where I will not be shaken." I don't know what exactly it is that you're going through today, my friend, but I want you to know that you're not alone. We as Christians are like pilgrims. We're all on this journey together. We have to choose not to let the hard parts of our story destroy us. We have to see through a lens of faith and allow God to use our struggles to reach out to others while we're here. Maybe you're not in that place right now. You can't even think about reaching out to others. You're struggling enough on your own, and that's okay. There are seasons in our life. Perhaps you need to rest before you rise, but I encourage you to refute the lie that you don't matter, that nobody cares about you, and that you're alone. It's all untrue. You do matter. You are loved. You're never alone. God is always with you. Call upon Him. Get plugged in at the church, not for what you can get out of it from other people, but for what you can give to it. Even just your presence matters. And purpose, with God's help, to persevere. No one can do it but us. God can help us, but we have to choose that. It's hard. It's a struggle, like that day that I was already at my wit's end and that lady could have tipped me over. But we have to fight against that. We have to fight against the urge to give up and fight against the urge to blame God. We choose to trust God. We choose to press on. for now.